Hello there, very good evening and welcome to Verdict 2017, where in the next half hour we'll talk about who eventually is going to be winning those 5 states. The results, of course, to be out on the 11th of March, but where are the trends going? And apart from that, what eventually took place in those last phases in Manipur and UP today? We'll get you details of that in a bit, but first, the headlines. Voting concludes for the 7th and final phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh. Over 51.69% voting was recorded till 3 p.m. for the 40 seats in the state. %85% recorded till 3 p.m. in the second and last phase of elections for the Manipur Assembly. Votes were polled for 22 seats in the state. And voting to take place in 2 seats in Uttarakhand and Uttar Pradesh tomorrow. Polls were postponed in Uttarakhand's Karnaprayag and UP's Alapur districts after the death of local candidates. Let's start with Uttar Pradesh, which has registered a turnout of which has been now revised to 60.03% in the 7th phase of assembly elections. Voter turnout for these seats was 57.92% in 2012. 40 constituencies, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi's Lok Sabha constituency, Varanasi, went to elections today. The final leg of the elections had witnessed extensive campaigning from stalwarts of the leading parties.
The 7th and final phase of elections in Uttar Pradesh concluded on Wednesday. Elaborate security arrangements were made in all districts where polling took place without major disruptions. Technical snags in electronic voting machines were reported in Mirzapur and Bhadoi. In Jaunpur, Harendra Pratap Singh, the BJP candidate from Jafarabad, and 4 others were arrested for allegedly carrying voters to polling booths in 2 vehicles. Senior BJP leader Murli Manohar Joshi cast his vote in Varanasi, while Apna Dal leader and Union Minister Anupriya Patel cast her vote in Mirzapur.
जहाँ तक हमारे गठबंधन का सवाल है, तो मुझे पूरा विश्वास है कि हम एक-एक सीट जीतने जा रहे हैं और उत्तर प्रदेश के अंदर अगली सरकार एनडीए गठबंधन की ही बनेगी.
Many women and senior citizens queued up outside the polling stations to cast their votes.
First of all, we want change. We want UP out of crime. Education. Education is must.
विकास वाली सरकार आवे और बुनकर के लिए काम करे. बुनकर की समय स्थिति बहुत चौपट है. बुनकर की बुद्धि है, बिजली मिले, पावर लूम कायदे से चले और
हम दिया कि अच्छी सरकार मिले, जनता का काम हो, विकास हो और क्या चाहिए.
इस बार हम लोग को जो नारा दिया गया है कि कहो दिल से अखिलेश फिर से, हाँ, ये हम लोग को अखिलेश को लाना है.
7 districts including Ghazipur, Varanasi, Chandauli, Mirzapur, Bhadoi, Sonbhadra and Jaunpur went to polls on Wednesday. The results will be declared on March 11th along with those of Manipur, Uttarakhand, Goa and Punjab.
It's a spectacular way to celebrate International Women's Day and see an overwhelming participation of women in this democratic process. Since morning, women have come out in large numbers to exercise their franchise. There has been an upsurge in women voter turnout, and in 2014, the turnout touched a record mark of 65%. The Election Commission this time around has unleashed a barrage of measures to motivate women voters so that they come out in large numbers and exercise their franchise. Reporting from Varanasi, with camera person Arvind, I'm Kriti Mishra for Rajya Sabha Television.
In fact, Kriti Mishra is joining us now live from Varanasi to give us an update on how things stand at the moment. As far as the voting percentage is concerned, Kriti, now revised to 60.03%. Perhaps could rise a little bit more as well as the numbers, of course, come in. But, you know, the Election Commission has expressed pleasure and happiness and positivity that, you know, as far as the voting percentage is concerned, UP this time has shown much more concern about the elections, the electoral process than in previous years.
Well, that's right, Tracy. Election Commission had earlier also exuded confidence that this time around we'll see impressive voter turnout. And also, as far as the Election Commission is concerned, they had also unleashed a lot of measures to actually motivate voters. Not only voters in the urban areas, but also in the rural areas, particularly women, because they had organized things like Mehndi competition, Rangoli competition. There was this election jingle and the stanza of it goes like, Sare Kaam Chhod Do, Is Baar Vot Do. So that certainly has worked. And as far as the security arrangements are concerned, elaborate security arrangements were made just to ensure voters that it is an environment where free and fair elections can take place. So certainly Election Commission can take pride, and of course, for a populated state, for as populated state as UP is, in fact, any increase may be that could be of 2% or 3% or even 5% as far as Varanasi is concerned. Remember, last time around it saw 58% turnout, and this time we are hearing that the percentage has reached the 63 mark. So certainly it's a huge achievement for the Election Commission, and certainly that element of urban apathy that we've been hearing, that probably in urban centers people treat election day as a holiday and do not come out and vote, probably that particular perception is also getting defied. Tracy?
Absolutely, absolutely. And, you know, as far as perceptions are concerned, you know, by the end of the electoral process, now we do know, of course, there's one seat to go in Alapur. But apart from that, if you look at it, you know, that 2-month-long exercise, that exhaustive one, has finally come to an end, not just for us and you, in fact, as journalists who've been tracking those developments across UP, but even for the political parties. It's been a tough ride. It's been a challenging one. You know, are they sighing, you know, a relief at the end of it all? Or, you know, do they still feel that the fight is not yet over?
Well, those efforts would only fructify if they actually win these elections. But Tracy, let me tell you, according to all these speculations that we're hearing right now, is most of the political experts and posters are saying that UP might be heading towards a hung assembly. So even in that scenario, all the political parties have to get their acts together to actually work on new combinations and permutations. As far as the BJP is concerned, it is sounding extremely confident of touching that magic mark. But certainly as far as all the quarters and different constituencies, because a lot of factors would actually make a difference, because Tracy, as far as a particular seat is concerned, the candidate is concerned, caste arithmetic is concerned. So it's very difficult to say right now which way the wind would blow, but certainly all the political parties will only, heave a sigh of relief after March 11th if they actually get the throne of Uttar Pradesh.
Absolutely.
Tracy?
And, you know, so far our attention, to a large extent, of course, have been on the 3 major big parties, or for that matter, even the alliance and the 2 other big party. You've got the Samajwadi Congress alliance, you have the BSP, and you have the BJP. To a large extent, the attention was on that. But eventually, you know, especially like you're saying, with the hung assembly is the kind of, the trend, is the kind of feeling that people have as far as UP is concerned, is what is going to be the result. Those smaller parties are going to be crucial, isn't it?
Well, that's right, Tracy. In fact, to mention Peace Party and Nishad Party, which is Nirbal Indian Shoshit Hamara Amdal, they have actually come together and formed an alliance. And as far as the OBCs are concerned, remember, Tracy, they are more than 30% in the state. Of course, Yadavs in the OBC category always ally with the Samajwadi Party. Of course, 2014 was an exception when they actually rallied behind the BJP. But certainly, as far as this particular section is considered, they have actually fought elections for the first time with the Peace Party, and a lot of OBCs like Mallas, Kevats and also Machwaras, they are aligning behind this party and they're throwing their weight around this party. So certainly we'll have to wait and watch whether these parties actually make a difference, whether they actually earn in terms of seats, or they only mar the prospects of bigger parties.
Absolutely. And we'll continue talking, Kriti, about really what lies significantly in what is going to be crucial, especially for the BJP, to, you know, get a state like UP, or for that matter, lose a state like UP. We'll continue talking about that. But very quickly, let's tell our viewers also that polling, in fact, in Alapur constituency of Ambedkar Nagar, in fact, will take place tomorrow, because the voting for this reserved constituency was postponed after Samajwadi Party candidate Chandrasekhar Kanojia died of a heart attack while campaigning in Ambedkar Nagar on the 12th of February. Polling in the constituency was in fact scheduled for the 27th of February. After the candidate's death, the Samajwadi Party fielded his widow, Sangeeta Chaudhary, in the election. Polling for Uttarakhand's Karnaprayag seat as well, another state there, will take place tomorrow after the February 15th election was postponed following the death of BSP candidate Kuldeep Singh Kawasia in a road accident. So as far as electioneering process is concerned, not completely over in UP, and Uttarakhand will be seeing repolling, of course, taking place in those 2 seats. Whereas as far as the verdict is concerned, 11th of March is eventually when all the votes would be counted for all the 5 states. And that's when it's going to be very, very crucial to see how the BJP fares. Kriti Mishra continues to be with us from Varanasi. Kriti, talking about the BJP, they've given their all, really. You've got, what, some 23 to 25 rallies that the Prime Minister himself has conducted across UP. Quite a sizable amount of that was towards the end, in fact, especially in Varanasi, where you are. You know, how crucial is it going to be for the BJP to hang on to this state? Because they do need a big victory. Ever since, you know, the General Assembly election, the general elections, they have been in search for that one big victory.
Well, Tracy, the BJP had embarked on this high decibel, high octane campaign to woo the voters. Remember, Tracy, there are several factors that are extremely crucial for the BJP. One, these outcomes would actually be a referendum on demonetization. Many experts say this. It would also be a litmus test for BJP's top leadership as far as these 5 states are concerned, because Delhi, of course, didn't go well for them, and also other states, you know, after the thumping majority in 2014. So certainly that is a big question as far as Varanasi is considered. Remember, Varanasi, there was a lot of internal rebellion in the party after the ticket distribution. So party candidates and also party workers were actually feeling left out by this new leadership in the party. So certainly that is one aspect that we have to look at. And also, Tracy, very importantly, now we'll have president's election in July. So that UP would also be a deciding factor in that. And also the strength in the Rajya Sabha in terms of number. So if BJP fares well here, it would get legislative elbow in the Rajya Sabha to get its crucial bill passed in the upper house. So certainly a lot of factors make these elections, specifically in UP, very, very crucial for the BJP.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Kriti, for joining us. We'll come back to you through the evening, and of course, till the 11th of March. Really, our work isn't over yet, you know, tracking those developments in UP. Thank you so much for joining us for the moment. A quick break, and we'll be back with all the details coming in from Manipur.
Nationalism, to say, is monopolized by a certain section of people whose agenda is that if you are not with me, then you are anti-national.
Nobody can monopolize nationalism, and nobody can define nationalism.
It was the war that killed her father. Does BJP see Gurmehar Kaur now as an anti-national?
You have to understand that she's just a student for me. Our battle is with the far leftist ideological group.
Watch to the point with Union Minister of State for Home Affairs, Kiran Rijiju, only on Rajya Sabha television. From cowries to metal pieces, Indian currency has seen many changes. The earliest punch-marked coins came from Gandhar. The East India Company at the turn of the 19th century also minted its own coins. The Indo-Greek coins come from a colony left behind by Alexander. They depict the golden rule of the Guptas, with embossed human portraits and matrimonial alliances like Chandragupta Maurya's wedding with Seleucus I Nicator's daughter.
Taking its name from the abundance of simul or red silk cotton trees that bloom vividly here, the Simlipal National Park is home to 3 of India's biggest animal species: tiger, Asiatic elephant, and gaur. Spread over a sprawling area of 2,750 square kilometers, set on a wide expanse of sal forest, this park is nestled in the very center of Mayurbhanj in Odisha. It is one of the most breathtaking nature reserves in India, with forests, grassy meadows, and some beautiful waterfalls like Joranda and Badehipani. It is also home to an astounding 1,078 species of plants, including 94 species of orchids.
Welcome back. Let's talk of Manipur, and a record 85% turnout has been registered in the second phase. While Congress and BJP are in a tough fight in all the 22 seats that went to polls, Irom Sharmila's Praja Party is the new entrant. Sharmila is in direct contest with the Chief Minister in a Thoubal seat, and barring a few incidents of clashes between communities and party workers, the election remained peaceful largely.
For the last 4 months, the Senapati area was one of the worst affected by United Naga Council economic blockade. But on Wednesday, the place was bustling with people queuing up to cast their vote. Right since 5 a.m., a trend that continued till 3 p.m.
A tentative turnout, because we have figures of only 75% of the polling stations, remaining 25% are very far-flung with no communication means, so the figures have still not reached. But from the balance 75% figures, the total turnout for this phase has been 86%.
Related to this prevailing situation, problem Naga are one in favor of to stand for this program. We need support, public support, or the majority of the people are supportive in favor of the this prevailing situation problem.
The youth and girls are voting for the government that will give them jobs and development.
A paid job, because even the merit student people, they are not elected, and then only those who are not qualified, they are elected by giving money and all. That is what I want, because even the merit student people, they are not elected, and then we're unemployed.
Polling was equally healthy in Thobal, the home constituency of Chief Minister Bobi Singh, where he is up against Erom Sharmila.
Every citizen of this country has right to contest. Let her also contest. We are extremely happy. We are always most welcome. When he was in the hospital, and by the time also I appealed to her, please break your fast and democratically let us fight your aims and objective. Let us fight together. That is common cause for us also.
With the paramilitary forces on vigil, the district police were welcoming new voters with a gift as encouragement.
We are trying to reward the first-time voters.
You are rewarding the
first-time voters, so that there should be an environment from the very beginning. They should feel that we are being seen, we are being rewarded, and we should continue to do that.
This phase of polling is taking place near the areas of India-Myanmar border. Opposed to Nagas on many issues, the Kuki community is in a majority here. With the BJP wooing them in a big way, it will be interesting to see if votes get divided here.
The second phase of elections in Manipur is most important for Naga politics and the future of economic blockade. It will be interesting to see that whether the monopoly of a particular group in Naga politics is broken in this phase or not. However, the most important question is what will be the future of economic blockade, because most of the people are suffering from it, and even people have gathered for voting in large numbers. Akhilesh Suman for Rajya Sabha Television with camera person Prasanto in Senapati of Manipur.
All right, joining us now on this discussion, we have KV Prasad, Associate Editor with the Tribune, joining us in studio. We also have Akhilesh Suman, our correspondent who's been tracking those developments across Manipur, joining us from Imphal. Akhilesh, very quickly, like we were talking about, record percentage voting that we're seeing in both the phases. So, Manipur is, of course, making sure that every vote counts. But at the end of it, things like the economic blockade, is there a solution to that at all, even if, let's say, a new government does come in place? All right, I can't seem to hear Akhilesh. We'll try and sort that link in just a short while. But Mr. Prasad, if I could come to you and, take that question to you, in fact, looking at how Manipur has been for all these years, governments have come and gone. Of course, to a large extent, the past 15 years, of course, has been a Congress government. But, as far as the issues are concerned, things remain the same pretty much on the ground. And is there anything, that Manipur is hoping for this time around? Because we do see that as far as the enthusiasm is concerned and with the voting percentage, they're trying to make every vote count.
Yeah, I think what is most heartening in this elections in Manipur is the turnout. If you have 84, 85 plus, and we just heard 86, I'm talking of phase 1 and phase 2.
Yeah.
That's a phenomenal turnout, and also the fact that a large number of youth, at least what those visuals we can see, that shows that the extreme faith that people have in the democratic process to try and sort out the problems that are bedeviling the region. And of course, we all know that the city of Imphal and every area of Manipur had a long suffering, largely because of economic blockade, that had been caused since the creation of the 7 new districts.
Yes.
Now that fallout can be seen, people have really suffered in terms of economic hardship because every price of every essential product had gone up to, had literally shot through the roof. But whether that translates into a vote and anger against the government of Mr. Ibobi Singh,
Yeah.
or how are going to people perceive this is what people are looking at.
Yeah.
Because linked to that is the issue of the Naga issue and the Naga talks. And if you remember during the campaign, the opposition from the center, if I may say so, clarified, because when Congress Vice President went, he asked only one question is, what about the Naga Accord? What happened?
Yes.
What are the contours? So, because that finds a resonance in Manipur very, very clearly, because if you jog your memory back several decades ago, the area was up in flames because of a lot of problems, because of the greater the issue of whether we have a greater Nagaland,
Nagaland, which of course a lot
Nagaland.
of
So
parts-
all these issues remain unsettled.
Yes.
So people have that. I mean, of course, 2 decades means that 2 generations have come in, and new voters have come in. But you also heard unemployment. These are issues that find the same resonance every part of the state.
Yes.
Unemployment, corruption.
In fact, let me take that question across to Akhilesh. I believe he is now joined, he can hear me properly now. Akhilesh, the economic blockade, how much of a factor was that? When you were talking to people on the ground, as far as the voters, their concerns are concerned, how much of it was regarding the economic blockade, or is it eventually going to be valley versus tribal politics, the hill politics?
Yeah, exactly. The place where I was standing and the places where I talked to, see, the place Senapati is the bastion, you know it very well, the bastion of United Naga Council, and they are the people who have launched the economic blockade. And today polling and economic blockade was going side by side. And it was very interesting that people were telling different voices. Some were telling that economic blockade will continue because the government has not taken any advice, have not taken any of us in the confidence. But when I talk to the youth and when I talk to the women, especially the girls, they are telling that for us employment is the most important issue because the whole area is suffering from employment and there is no big university, there is no big colleges in this area.
Yes.
So we have to either go to other states rather, we have to go to other state or we have to go to the open university.
Yes.
So both type of things are working in Senapati area also where Naga politics is very dominant. And one particular phenomena I also came to know about that many of the underground organizations have put up their candidates either in some parties or independent.
Yes.
And independents are also trying to make a big dent in the whole prospect of BJP and Congress
Absolutely,
both.
and perhaps
So
that
it
is why
going to
this
be
time
division
around
of
we've got
votes
no
in Naga
call
area.
of
That
boycott
was
coming
what I
in
could
from any of those underground groups, over 40 of them in fact which operate within Manipur itself. But we'll have to leave it there. Akhilesh, thanks a lot for joining us. And very quickly, Mr. Prasad, we're taking stock of, that 2-month-long process of elections that we saw in UP as well. Manipur, of course, over today, but in UP as well. One more seat to go, of course, in Alapur. But apart from that, that long exercise is finally over. What are the trends that you're seeing, as far as, those big rallies are concerned? What did you notice throughout, and what was the significant bit that you saw about these elections in UP?
Well, I traveled, just returned from those parts of the eastern parts, including Banaras, Mirzapur, Bhadoi, and those parts. I mean, I've noticed that the campaign was very intense. All 3 political parties in the fray, the big ones, the Bharatiya Janata Party, of course, the Bahujan Samaj Party, the Congress and Samajwadi Party, they put out the best foot forward, trying to see and woo the voters till the last. And we saw, of course, in Banaras, the Prime Minister spending 3 days, because, of course, that is his Lok Sabha constituency. But they're also giving the final push to make sure that if there is any doubting voters who are sitting on the fence, they need to be converted into their camp. Because the fact remains, when the campaign began, not just when I'm talking the start of the 7th phase, first of the 7 phases, the mood was different. The BJP seemed to have had a bit of a delayed start, if one may say so, in terms of its. But as the polls progressed, we kept getting reports, reading reports in newspapers, television, all over, and social media, that the tide was turning differently. We are not sure, there's no way to predict a winner in that sense, but certainly the
sense of confidence was
the sense of confidence, the Bharatiya Janata Party confidence kept on increasing as it progressed. But at the same time, the SP and Congress continue to push till the last, and the BSP never ever underestimate the Bahujan Samaj Party.
Yes.
Because they've been campaigning silently, they have their own way of working into the votes, and they have a very strong committed cadre and voters. So all these make it a very important mix, and always remember Uttar Pradesh is, like many other parts, of course caste has a major role to play.
Yes.
In addition, there are several small parties who tend to add or subtract votes from big ones.
Yes, 11th of March is counting day. That's going to be interesting. KV Prasad, thank you so much for joining us for the moment. That's it. That's all I can bring for you, at least in this edition of Verdict 2017. Thank you so much for joining us.